All right. Good morning, sixth graders. I hope that you guys had an excellent weekend and that you were able to go outside and enjoy this nice weather. A few things before we get started. This week, originally, before all of this COVID-19 stuff had happened, originally you guys were supposed to have April 10th and April 13th, so this Friday and next Monday off. We are still going to follow that. So that means that this week for distance learning, that you will have school or distance learning on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you guys will be having a 4-day weekend, and you do not have to do distance learning again until next Tuesday. So you'll still get that 4-day weekend. So today, what we're going to be doing is you'll have a chance to work on your bell ringer. We're going to be working on some autobiographical writing, which deals with A Long Way Home, but then also with your I Survived chapters. And then don't forget about IXL C2, dealing with that mood and tone, and then My Side of the Mountain chapters 1 through 3. So what we're going to be doing today, if you have your textbook with you, you can turn to page 425. And we are going to be analyzing an autobiographical writing using main ideas and details. So an autobiography is a true account of events and experiences written by a person who has directly experienced them. A memoir is a type of autobiography that focuses on a specific period in the author's life or an experience that holds particular significance for the author. So in our story, A Long Way Home, it is dealing with kind of a specific time in his life where he was trying to find his hometown. And then also kind of think of your I Survived writing, and that is going to be a specific period of time that happened in your guys' life. So in a way, you guys are writing your own memoir. An autobiographical writing relates to the author's thoughts, feelings, and reflections on the events and experiences he or she describes. Autobiographies and memoirs can communicate a variety of insights, including what the author learned from the event or experience, what the author values in his or her goals in life, how the author feels about other people in his or her life, how the author relates to his or her environment and the world, and then kind of how the author responds to conflicts or struggles in which he or she is faced with. So kind of think of the internal struggles or conflicts that our author kind of faced as he was trying to find his hometown. He had some setbacks with technology and kind of his own memories. And then just kind of think of your guys' personal experience right now. What are some conflicts and struggles that you are being faced with this COVID-19 outbreak? So on page 425, we are going to be doing the practice today. So we are going to review A Long Way Home, and we are going to use the chart to identify some main ideas from specific paragraphs. I have the chart started for us here. So in paragraph 10, we are able to look back and kind of find some details or reflections on kind of how the author is thinking. So in paragraph 10, some things that I found were, why hadn't I done that before? Maybe I had been too overwhelmed. It finally dawned on me. So we can kind of use some of those reflections and insights to see that he is trying to discover a method that might allow him to find his own hometown. Some of them may work, some may not. Then in paragraphs 17 through 18, you are going to find some details that reveal reflections and insights, and you are going to now find the main idea of that paragraph. So I found one reflection and insight. You'll need to find another one. So it became clear that progress would be slow. Can you find another main detail that might help support? Or you can read through the paragraph and find the main idea before going back and finding a detail. So what would be a main idea that progress would be slow that would support? Then, same with paragraph 30, I found the detail. Sometimes it started to feel claustrophobic. Can you find another detail that might help support the main idea of the paragraph? And you guys are going to have to identify that. So you will be working on a worksheet. Once it loads here. So I have that same paragraph written in this paragraph or in this document here. You'll have to find one more detail for each of those paragraphs, and then you will have to identify what the main idea is. Then at the bottom, there are 4 questions that kind of relate to the story and just kind of reflecting on it. This will be the last day that we are working on A Long Way Home. And then when you have time, we have the entire week to work on this. The next part of our I Survived is ready to go. So this week, some things that you're going to be reflecting on during this COVID outbreak is we kind of worked on last week with kind of where were you when you first found out. Now, this is going to be, chapter 2 is going to focus on when you found out that school was going to be closed. So when did you find out that school was going to be closed? And what would you be learning from home? What was your reaction to the news? And how did you feel? Were you uncertain, confused, excited, angry, sad? What were some of those emotions? So kind of think and look back at page 425 and really think about what are some things that you have learned? Kind of what were some feelings about kind of what's going on in your environment and in the world? And then how are you responding to this? Again, this is your story, so we want to hear your feelings. Now, when it comes to your document, you're going to want to use the same document that you created last week. So I have returned your Google presentations if you had already turned yours in. A few of you used different documents and were able to share that with me. If you have not shared anything with me, please do so that I can get you some points for this first week. So again, I Survived, chapter 2 is what you're going to be working on this week for your writing project. And if you go into Google Classroom, I also have my copy of the I Survived. So kind of chapter 2, I added to this when I found out that school was going to be closed. And you can kind of go through and see some of my thoughts. I know that it gets a little bit lengthy there. If you're not wanting to type, you can always do like a video and kind of record what your thoughts were and kind of go from there. So that is our tasks for today, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow.